Hey, what's going on, guys? Your boy Pham. And if you're a new listener here or if you've been listening for the last 25, 26 episodes, I just want to say thank you. I really appreciate all the support and love that you guys give to me on Twitter or email through anything. And if you're new here, you can definitely get connected and also get my free best-selling book, How to Network. Instantly build trust and respect with anyone you meet at www.outsideoftheclassroom.com/club. CLUB. And just other than that, this is a really fun project for me. This podcast has been amazing, interviewing awesome guests like the one you'll hear later on in like a minute or so. But I just really want to say thank you so much. I really, really, really appreciate all the support, like every single comment, every single view, everything. I really, really appreciate it. And just stay connected. Say hi to me if you haven't. If you're new here, welcome. And I'm just really excited to just give you more and more great content. So I know I've been rambling a lot, but without further ado, please welcome my good friend, Chris Haroun. Welcome to Outside of the Classroom. Today we have Chris Haroun, partner at Artist Ventures, business school professor, and author of his recent book, 101 Crucial Lessons They Don't Teach You in Business School. Chris, welcome to the show.
Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, well, Chris, how has book sales been? I know you just launched this new book, and I've read it, and I loved it.
They've been fantastic. There's a Kindle version, a book version, as well as an Audible version, and they're all selling incredibly well. We got to number 6 on the business education charts on Kindle recently, so we're pleased with that. Yeah, thank you.
That's so awesome. And I really just want to go over some of the lessons, the crucial lessons you learned. You being a professor and you writing a book about, lessons they don't teach you in business school really just shows like where the lack of like knowledge is coming from for students. And in the book, you talk a lot about using LinkedIn to get ahead in your career. But for most like millennials like myself, I don't ever use LinkedIn just because I don't really see the value in it. Can you just share a few benefits LinkedIn might give me or any other student who wants to get ahead in their career?
Yeah, that's a great question. So one of the big things that business schools don't teach you is how to network. And in business, relationships are more important than product knowledge. It's really who you know and not as much what you know. And so the benefit of using LinkedIn is you can get a meeting with basically anybody you want if you use it the right way. And so an old school example of this is Steve Jobs. If you get a chance, pause the podcast and do a search for Steve Jobs Ask. That's ASK in YouTube. And watch the video. And you'll learn that the only reason that we all use Apple products today is because Steve Jobs, from a very young age, he networked. And what he did was he actually called Bill Hewlett from Hewlett Packard when Steve was only 12 years old. And he asked for advice. And he actually got a summer job that way. And so, Steve Jobs basically said, if you don't ask, you'll never receive, which has been true since the beginning of time. Now, in terms of LinkedIn, in this digital age, you can network using LinkedIn and get meetings with anybody. And basically what you do is this. You create your profile, obviously, and then you sign up for a premium version of LinkedIn, which doesn't cost that much. But what the premium version will let you do is they will let you send what are called in-mails. That's INMAILS, in-mails. And don't send emails if you want to get meetings with people, and don't call them anymore because everybody does that. But if you send in-mails, and not many people do, you can get meetings with anybody. And the way you do it is as follows. In LinkedIn, you do an advanced search. And in the advanced search page of LinkedIn, you enter a couple of parameters, such as the school you went to, or an organization you're a part of, or what city you're from in the world. And then you enter a zip code you live in now, or a zip code you're going to visit. And you just look for a result, the results of the advanced search query and find people that have similarities to you. So say you want to work at Google and you're here in the Bay Area and your zip code is 94010, you enter that. You enter in company name Google, and then say you're from Toledo or Cleveland or whatever it might be, just enter that as well. And you will find there are people from Cleveland that live here in the Bay Area that work, for example, for Google. And then what you do is you send them a very simple message called an in-mail. In LinkedIn, you send an in-mail and you keep it very short. The subject line is hi, that's it. And the contents of the message are very short, less is more, as follows. John, Hope all is well. I'm also from Cleveland and I live here in the Bay Area. Please let me know if you have time for a coffee in the next few weeks. Thanks a lot, Chris. And that's all you do. And I know
Mhm.
it sounds very simplistic, but you use the words please, thank you, and the element you have in common with this person. And if you're a student, also mention the fact you're a student because we all love helping students. And the
Mm.
farther away you are from your hometown, the more it is people want to help you. They want to help. Yeah.
Interesting.
And so what you do is once you get this meeting, the first half of the meeting, you just talk about your hometown or something you have in common with this person. And then it naturally gravitate towards why are we meeting in a nice way. And
Mm.
then, yeah, yeah,
I'm just curious before you go
yeah,
on, like what's the difference between in-mails and just regular LinkedIn messages?
it's the same thing. It's
Same
the
thing.
same thing. Yeah, yeah. But if you sign up for the premium service, you get I think it's 15 free per month. And if
Mm.
somebody answers your email, then it doesn't count as one of your 15. And, and
Whoa.
so you'll be amazed how people will want to help you. And during the meeting, the second half of the meeting, the first half is just, get to know them. Second half is you ask them for, a contract if you're selling something or a job or just networking tips. They'll help you. And if they can't help you, if they say we're not hiring at this point, just ask them when are you hiring in a nice way and then follow up at that point.
Mhm. Interesting. But in your message,
Mhm.
your body of the message, you mentioned the last sentence was like, "Let me know if you're free in the next few weeks," but you don't really clarify like why you're
No, you
meeting or like.
never say.
Oh, you never say.
No, you never say
Oh.
why because otherwise they'll think that you're trying to sell a product or whatnot. You want to leave a little bit of mystique to it, or the element of why does this person want to meet? Okay, well they're from my hometown. I want to help them. Okay, I'll take the meeting and I'll find out when I meet with them. I know it sounds a little bit different from a networking perspective, but I promise you it works. And so I teach at a number of Bay Area universities here. I teach business courses at night. During the day, I'm a venture capitalist. And the
Mhm.
first class for all the courses I teach, I tell my students, I say, if I told you that you will get the job of your dreams if you do 20 informational meetings using LinkedIn. If you did all 20, if I told you you would get the job of your dreams, would you do it? And every hand goes up. And then on the last day of the class, I asked my students, okay, how many of you followed through and did 20 meetings? And only one or two hands go up. And those are always the students that get the jobs of their dreams, regardless of what their grades are. And so your
Mm.
ability to network in life will really help you to become successful in business.
That's so interesting. But going through these 20 different interviews, like I guess can you walk us through like how the meeting is again? Because you don't actually do you ask for a job at the very end, or do you not ask for a
No,
job,
no, no.
or
So you do. So the first half of the meeting, you just discuss what you have in common. You
yeah.
try to create a bond with them on a personal level. You talk about your hometown or the undergraduate school you went to or whatever it is. And the second half of the meeting, you just very politely you just ask them, is your company potentially hiring? And if they say no, then say when. And they say, well, in 6 months we probably are. Then
Mhm.
you follow up in 6 months. And you always want to be additive to the conversation as well in the business relationship and networking relationship by offering something to them as well. So maybe you're talking to them about a certain product that this person is trying to sell that you're meeting with. And maybe you could make an introduction for them to help them with their business. And
Mm.
people want to help you. You just have to have the ability to ask for help
Got it.
because most people don't.
There's a famous saying in VC world and entrepreneurship world is that when you ask for money, you get advice, and when you ask for advice, you get money.
Right, right.
And I was just curious because like no one has ever like consolidated this, but I was always thinking if you want a job, you ask for advice, and when you want advice, you ask for a job. Do you kind of agree with that or disagree with that in the workforce, or is it simply just just be straightforward and honest on what you actually want?
Yeah, I think you need to ask, right? Whether it's for money or a job, and it's just a law of numbers, and that's why I tell my students to do at least 20 of them. That's basically a 5% chance of getting what you want, and you have to be willing to fail. You have to be willing to crash and burn. Just keep trying, just keep at it, and if you're persistent enough, you will get what you want in life. Just ask and you shall receive.
Mm. Awesome. And you told me that you've done this many times on LinkedIn. Do
Yes.
you have any like stories of people you've met that actually really impacted your life or influenced
Yes.
how you are?
Yes. That's a great. Thank you for asking. So my success rate on getting meetings with people that are strangers on LinkedIn is 95%. And
Ooh.
I don't say that to impress you. Rather, I say it to impress upon you the fact that you can do it. You can network this way. And I did this even before I was in the venture capital sector. I always had no shame asking for help, and just realize again that people want to help you. You just have to ask, and most people don't ask. Now, in terms of successful business relationships that I've cultivated using this, a couple of companies that we invested in, I met them this way. And also when it comes to meeting with chief technology officers, I've met most of them this way, including government officials, CTOs of the biggest technology firms in the world. I've met them over LinkedIn. And I've kept the emails relatively short. Basically, please let me know if you have time for a coffee in the next few weeks. And I found an element we have in common. And then I met
Mhm.
with them. And then the beauty of having a lot of relationships with chief technology officers that have multi-billion-dollar annual technology budgets is that I can introduce these chief technology officers to my portfolio companies. The companies we invest in here are as ventures, and help them grow their businesses while at the same time helping chief technology officers see cool new companies that might help them with their businesses as well. And so, bottom line is relationships are more important than product knowledge, and LinkedIn is certainly the quintessential networking and relationship tool.
Oh wow, I totally agree. And for those who are not convinced yet, like I am convinced right now. But I'm just curious. So if a student listening to this wants to get a job at Google, for example,
Yes.
so do they? The next step is to contact 20 people at Google in whatever field they're in, like marketing or
Yes. Well, if you want to work in marketing, contact people in marketing at Google. If you want to work in engineering at Google, obviously contact people in engineering. But
Mhm.
let's do it right now. I'm going to
Sure.
open up LinkedIn as we speak. And where are you from originally?
I'm from San Jose,
San
California.
Jose. Okay, that's how about okay? That's going to give too many results. Let's pick Cleveland. Okay, so and
Sure.
I'm not from Cleveland. I'm from Toronto. You'll hear it in my accent. I'll say a boot or a every now and then. So
A boot.
I'm in LinkedIn right now. I just clicked on advanced, which is right beside the search box. For company name, I'm going to type in Google, and then for keywords, I'm going to type in Cleveland. And then what I'm going to do is for location at the bottom, I'm going to click on and enter in the zip code that I live in, which is 94010. And then I'm going to do a 100-mile radius search for Cleveland, that zip code, and Google. And then what you do is you'll find a bunch of people that live within that zip code that can help you.
Who are from
Yeah.
Cleveland.
Let me type in Toronto actually instead. That's where I'm from. Toronto. Okay, sorry. Here we go. All right. So Google, I typed it in. I put in 94010 as the zip code, and I typed in the keyword Toronto. And there's 368 people that are from Toronto, which is where I'm
Mhm.
from, that work at Google or are affiliated with Google.
Wow.
Yeah, wow, there's tons of them here.
And all you need to do is just contact 20 of them.
Yep. And so what you do is you just set up in-mails, right? So you
Mhm.
go to never connect with somebody you've never met before, like click connect in LinkedIn. Just click send in-mail. And so I click send in-mail. And so the first person that comes up is a guy named Chris Elliott. And he's a senior Android partner engineer at Google. Okay.
Mhm.
And so I click send an email. And then what I do is subject line, I type in hi. And the message I'll say, his name is Chris as well, just like me. I'll say, Chris, hope all is well. I'm also from Toronto and I live here in the Bay Area. Please let me know if you have time for a coffee in the next few weeks, period. Thanks a lot, Chris. That's it. And you will get a response. It's just a law of numbers. And don't be discouraged. It's kind of like dating. If you my friends that had the most success dating when I was younger were the ones that just didn't care about crashing and burning or making a fool of themselves. They just kept trying, kept trying.
Mhm. No, this is so awesome, and I know that you teach at your business school, and only like one or two students like raised their hand and actually got jobs.
Mhm.
Why not just make it this like a required activity because you know it's going to benefit their lives?
I love the fact you mentioned that, and I do actually. I actually give each class somebody shows me that they've done an email meeting, I give them a 5% bonus, right? And
Wow.
I max out about 15%, because I think that the most important thing in business is networking, and business schools unfortunately don't teach you how to do this. And so I show my class or my students how to use LinkedIn to get informationals, and they certainly all get bonus marks for it. So yeah.
hmm So that's very interesting. So after you meet them, and say you meet like 15 of them or 20 of them, what's next for you? Do you continue finding more people to meet, or do you, help those who you've already met? Like, what's that next step?
Yeah, so networking never ends. Getting the first meeting is the hardest thing to do. Getting the second meeting is a bit easier too. You keep in touch with them and you meet with them at least once every 6 months. However, in between meetings, you need to add value to them. You have to be a resource to them. You have to help them with their business as well. And so if you meet with somebody, say we met with somebody at a software company called SAP, and say this person was a quota carrying sales rep working in the government industry. You might know somebody that works in government in the technology side, and you just might make an informal introduction from your friend in the government to this person at SAP, and just make a couple of introductions. Or say you see an interesting article, you might send this article on to this person you met with via LinkedIn. Just find an excuse to contact them at least once a month. Yeah.
Or just keep them updated too.
Yes, yeah, but make sure that you help them with their business
Oh yeah.
as well. Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
So it seems like LinkedIn is great for meeting new people that you normally would never get to meet with. Is there any other like good benefit that myself or any other students listening or young people listening that we should know about?
Yeah, in LinkedIn, what you want to do is you want to, every time you have a meeting with somebody, or every time you have a guest speaker come in to present at your school, your company, your charity, wherever it might be, the second that meeting is over, obviously just go meet them quickly, just shake their hands, exchange business cards, and then go to LinkedIn immediately and link to them, because your worth in business is all predicated on the strength of your network. And if somebody enters your name in LinkedIn and see that you're contacted to a bunch of people that they're also contacted to or connected to, pardon me, this will help you out tremendously from a credibility perspective. That's number one. So after every meeting, best practice is to connect with these people on LinkedIn. Number two is you want to make sure that you follow people that are in positions of power or work at companies that you might want to partner with one day. Follow them on LinkedIn so that you can read their articles. And so LinkedIn is the best publishing platform in the world right now. Gone are the days where you go and you buy a newspaper or you subscribe online to a newspaper. Just go to LinkedIn, because all these great, smart, amazing people publish on LinkedIn. It's called Pulse. Pulse, and that's a subsidiary of LinkedIn where all the cool content is published. So follow those people and start writing yourself as well.
Yeah, so for those new to LinkedIn, what do you mean by follow? There's connect, now there's follow.
Yeah. So if say, and there's a guy named Michael Moritz, who is probably one of the most important and influential people in venture capital. He's at, of course, Sequoia, which is an amazing firm. You can't just connect with him, but you can follow him. And he writes a lot of incredible articles in the Financial Times, which gets re-syndicated on LinkedIn's Pulse subsidiary. And so if you click follow, you will get notified every time Michael Moritz from Sequoia publishes an article. And the same can be said for politicians, people that run charities and corporations, that sort of thing. You can just follow them, and it's your customized newspaper. It's amazing.
That's awesome. So now we have the connections. Now we have a publishing company. It seems like a lot of stuff already.
Yeah, it's amazing. LinkedIn is the most, and it's also great for jobs as well. I mean, you can apply for jobs online over LinkedIn. I think it's probably the most important social network that's ever been created. And from an investment perspective, I don't trade publicly traded companies, but I think that LinkedIn reminds me a lot of Google in the early days, in that it's a company with really no competition. I think that LinkedIn will be a $100 billion market cap company in 5 years. From a financial modeling perspective, I don't want to nerd out too much on you, but I did a case study in class with my students recently. I can get to $50 in earnings in about 5 years in this company, which means it's only trading at about 4 or 5 times earnings 5 years out. So anyway, I think it's one of the greatest companies in all technology.
Hmm. And you mentioned jobs. Can you tell us more about that? Is there like a hidden job board that
Yeah,
I've seen the job boards before, but I never
yeah.
actually explored it fully.
Yeah, there are jobs on LinkedIn as well. You can just get, I mean, it's just basically you go to the homepage and you'll see underneath the search box, there's a little thing called jobs. Just click on it. And it's a very intuitive search function. And you just, it's the only place to go to find jobs really online. It's the best resource by a mile. But I will say a better way to get jobs is just to network all the time, constantly. And if you don't meet at least one new person each week, and connect with them on LinkedIn, then it's kind of been a waste of a week, in my humble opinion. Yep.
Wow.
And if you're a student, I would say you got to meet 3 new people a week using LinkedIn, because your strength in business and your success is really predicated again on the strength of your network. Leverage LinkedIn, use it often.
Yeah, well, I just love how you put so much importance on networking because I love, relationships. I value people a lot and I invest a lot of my energy into that. I'm just very curious because like as we like how can we make this a more habitual routine in our lives where we're always on LinkedIn and we're always reaching out and I don't know like how can like for people who are not used to using LinkedIn, how can we remind ourselves or keep networking up like every single day of our lives or every week of our
Yeah.
lives.
So here's a simple way to do it is just set up a calendar entry in your calendar, whether you use an Android answer or iPhone answer or whatever it is, and just have that calendar entry pop up every Monday, maybe at 10 a.m., reminding you to network. Set up set up one informational meeting per week, at least,
Mhm.
at a minimum. If you're a student, 3 per week, because the days of sending in resumes to a couple of companies and getting the job of your dream are over. It's because the internet. What's happened, as much as I love the job search function on LinkedIn, for every job that's open, you have many thousands of applicants. And your probability of getting the job of your dreams is quite low that way. The way you're going to do it is by setting up meetings over LinkedIn. I'll give you another example, which is there's a couple of great companies out there, McKinsey and Goldman, and they tend to only recruit
Mhm.
at a handful of schools. If
Mhm.
you didn't go to those schools, it might be tough to get a job working for those companies. And so it's easy. Network using LinkedIn. Get meetings with people. I know it sounds.
I feel like every answer is that
Yeah,
just use LinkedIn.
I'm trivializing it, sorry, but just set up a lot of informationals with people that work at Goldman Sachs, for example, or McKinsey. And if that's your dream job in life, you can make it happen just by networking as much as you can.
That's just so crazy to hear. And okay, so knowing all of this, like, why isn't everyone leveraging LinkedIn as much as possible? Because this is like, after reading your book, like, this is one of the first times I actually discovered the power of just like reaching out
Mhm,
through a platform. I've always been doing it through Twitter or through friends of friends,
mhm.
but why isn't like everyone doing this?
I don't know. Maybe one of the reasons my students are so successful at networking using LinkedIn is because not many people do it yet. But like when you get an in-mail, a LinkedIn in-mail that
Mm.
hits your account, you get notified right away. It's in your face, whatever. The real estate in your screen is taken up by that message, and you answer them right away because it's kind of novel. Not many people send in-mails, right? So it works today because not many people do it. If everybody does it 5 years from now, then it won't work anymore. Kind of like email. When email first came out, it was like, oh,
Mhm.
this is novel, a new way to communicate, and it was a very effective way of getting meetings back in the 90s. But email is one of the worst ways to communicate now because, to be honest, I don't open most of my emails because they're spam emails or I'm on distribution lists with everybody else. But I open every email because they're never spam and not many people send them.
Very true. Well, Chris, this has been so fun. I recommend everyone listening to get a copy of the book, 101 Crucial Lessons They Don't Teach You in Business School. And Chris, where can everyone find out more about you and what you're up to?
Yeah, thanks a lot for asking. So through LinkedIn, So, short answer.
Send you an
Yeah,
email.
there's my book that's just I have just 1 or 2 chapters out of 101 on LinkedIn,
Oh
but
yeah.
I feel very strongly about it, and I thank you for asking about this. But just connect with me on LinkedIn or follow me on LinkedIn as I do publish daily. I publish articles daily on how to improve your career prospects or to have a balanced life. And it's lessons I've learned from talking to some of the smartest executives out there over the years. And I've had the privilege of being able to meet with Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, all these smart people over the years. And whenever I meet with them, I always ask them for one piece of advice, which I put in my book, and I post about often on LinkedIn. But thank you very much for your time, and I've certainly enjoyed speaking with you.
No, thank you so much for your time. And just a last quick question.
Of course.
Do you find people, after reading your book, do you find people actually emailing you to meet up?
Yes. And I'm probably opening Pandora's box here, but I've never said no. I've never said no to somebody that wanted to meet or grab a coffee or do a call. I get calls now from people all over the world after I publish this book. It's amazing, but it's fun for me because I love helping people, and I'm on the board of this great charity, and I'm going to plug this. I'm sorry, but it's a charity called the LEMO Foundation, LEMO Foundation. And what we do is we give scholarships to people that come from very humble backgrounds. And the mission statement of this company is beautiful. It's this: don't expect to realize your dreams unless you help others realize theirs first. Don't expect to realize your dreams unless you help others realize theirs first. And so I love helping people. I'm on the boards of a bunch of companies here working in venture capital. I love helping companies, but I also love helping students and helping people from difficult backgrounds as well. And whenever somebody reaches out to me, I always say yes. I always want to help out. And it's just like when I was younger, I wasn't a top student, obviously, but I always asked for help, and people were always willing to give me help. And so I'm trying to kind of pay that gratitude forward.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. So,
we need more people like you, Chris.
Thank you. I'm very humbled by that comment. Thank you.
Well, Chris, this has been really fun and really informational. Thank you so much for coming on.
That's great. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Your boy Pham. And if you're a new listener here, or if you've been listening for the last 25, 26 episodes, I just want to say thank you. I really appreciate all the support and love that you guys give to me on Twitter or email through anything. And if you're new here, you can definitely get connected and get my free best-selling book, How to Network. Instantly build trust and respect with anyone you meet at www.outsideoftheclassroom.com/club, CLUB. And just other than that, this is just a really fun project for me. This podcast has been amazing, interviewing awesome guests like the one you'll hear later on in like a minute or so. But I just really want to say thank you so much. I really, really, really appreciate all the support, like every single comment, every single view, everything. I really, really appreciate it. And just stay connected. Say hi to me if you haven't. If you're new here, welcome. And I'm just really excited to just give you more and more great content. So I know I've been rambling a lot, but without further ado, please welcome my good friend, Chris Haroun. Welcome to Outside of the Classroom. Today we have Chris Haroun, partner at Artis Ventures, business school professor, and author of his recent book, 101 Crucial Lessons They Don't Teach You in Business School. Chris, welcome to the show.
Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, well, Chris, how has book sales been? I know you just launched this new book, and I've read it, and I loved it.
They've been fantastic. There's a Kindle version, a book version, as well as an Audible version, and they're all selling incredibly well. We got to number 6 on the business education charts on Kindle recently, so we're pleased with that. Yeah, thank you.
That's so awesome. And I really just want to go over some of the lessons, the crucial lessons you learned. You being a professor and you writing a book about, lessons they don't teach you in business school really just shows like